KWME as we get ready for tonight's game between the Wingnuts and the Amarillo Sox. I know we're joined by Wingnuts bench and first base coach Brian Rose. And first, get your thoughts here. You guys kind of a tough game there last night, but maybe an easier one to roll over there. 8-0 guy threw a good game against you. Look to bounce back tonight.
Yeah, I was kind of joking around with the guys. I said, I don't know what happened. I took a nap right around 7:05 last night, and I woke up and the series was over. But it happens sometimes, and obviously we're pretty proud of our lineup and what we feature as an offensive group. And every once in a while you're going to run into a guy that just is missing barrels, and it seemed like that was certainly the case last night. And if these guys are the guys that we think they are, they probably can't wait till the lights go on tonight and get back in that batter's box and start hacking again. So. And
you guys still take 2 out of 3, which is big because I know you dropped 3 series coming into that series, but you get 2 out of 3 against the defending champs.
Yeah, getting in there at home again and taking care of business like we should. An opportunity to sweep, which is always a good thing. But winning the series, and that's what it's all about for us as we kind of grind it out now into the dog days of the schedule here in the middle, and it's important to keep winning those series and stay focused on the big picture.
Talking with the Wingnuts bench coach Brian Rose here in the pregame show. The Wingnuts will open up a 4-game series tonight against the Amarillo Sox. And for some of the fans that follow the Wingnuts that may not be aware, you're currently battling stage 4 melanoma. Could you just kind of take us back to even before last season when you kind of first found out about this and the steps that have kind of taken place here?
Yeah, so last April 2010, just before coming to Wichita from Austin, I went in to see a dermatologist about a little spot that we were concerned about on the top of my head, and they did a little biopsy and did some testing, and a couple days later I got a phone call that said it was something called malignant melanoma, which is a deadly form of skin cancer, and something that can be treated if it's found and caught early, pretty successfully treated, but if it's not caught early it can be pretty dangerous. And so we did some testing and had a couple of surgical procedures done before coming to Wichita, and kind of got some good news from the doctors at the time, and we thought the worst was behind us, and we kind of dodged a bullet there a little bit. Throughout the season last year, I had some concerns. I started seeing some signs that maybe led us to believe that maybe it wasn't all gone. And for 2 days after I got back to Austin after last season was finished, did another round of CT scans and some more tests, and we found a little spot in my lung. Melanoma has a tendency to go to the lungs and go to the brain and other organs as it tries to travel throughout the body, and much like any cancer, if left untreated, it's going to run wild. And unfortunately, we got some bad news last October, and last October the 6th I was diagnosed officially with stage 4 melanoma. I've got disease in my liver, my lungs, my brain, some of the subcutaneous tissue. So quite an off season, to say the least. It was something obviously I never thought about, and never thought I would experience as a guy in my early 30s. And but we feel like we're starting to get ahead of it a little bit, and it's just something that's always going to be a part of my life. And I tell you, I feel really blessed and very lucky to be on the baseball field, and it's really never meant more to me to do what I love to do. So.
We're talking with Wingnuts bench coach Brian Rose here on the pregame show. The Wingnuts opening up a series tonight against the Amarillo Sox, and I understand you're actually working with, or you've been working with a drug here for a little while that's helped you make some progress, and this particular medicine has actually been making some waves in the news here recently.
Yeah, it sure has. Shoes. About 2 weeks ago in Chicago, there was a meeting called, I think they call it the ASCO group, which is I don't know, something about clinical oncologists or something like that, the American Association of Clinical Oncology or something. But they melanoma has been a little bit of an issue. Obviously it's the incidence has been increasing over the last 30 years. The survival rates, however, have been pretty flat, and there really hasn't been given a whole lot of attention to the disease. Actually, I think it was 2 months ago now, maybe March, there were some headlines about a drug called ipilimumab, which is actually it was approved by the FDA. It was the first new new drug approved by the FDA in some 13 years to treat advanced melanoma. That was followed by a pill, which is what I'm taking now on a clinical trial. The drug has not been approved by the FDA yet, but it's a drug, right now it's called PLX4032, and they're seeing some pretty amazing results. Enough good news that the FDA has what they call fast-tracked it for approval, and I've talked to some doctors here recently that say that this is something that could be available to everyone by the end of the month. And usually the FDA process takes quite some time. I mean, there's a lot of testing and obviously a lot of groundwork that goes in to getting those drugs approved. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Just had my first set of scans a couple of weeks ago after taking the drug for about 2 months, and we saw some good news. We saw some good news for the first time since I've been diagnosed. I had a doctor tell me that things are getting better. So I almost didn't know what to do with myself. You're always kind of prepared for the worst, but you hope for the best. And we actually got some good results, and it's helping a lot of people. Not only in the U.S. but around the world, and for me to be a part of the studies and be a part of the clinical trials, I feel like it's my obligation as a patient to stick my neck out there a little bit and start taking these pills and seeing what happens, and hopefully for our kids and our grandkids, it makes things a little bit easier should this disease continue to run wild as it has. So
it's definitely good news. Again, we're here with Wingnuts bench and first base coach Brian Rose. The Wingnuts in their series right now against the Amarillo Sox in Amarillo, Texas. And how important has it been for you to, as you're going through this over the last year and a half, to be out on the baseball field where you want to be and be able to do what you love to do?
Pretty incredible, Shoes. Pretty incredible. I, all throughout the off season, some of the treatments that I underwent, I'd be in the hospital for a week, maybe 10 days at a time, and doing the traditional chemotherapies and something called biochemotherapy, which is actually 5 different drugs that are administered through an IV, and I get those 7 days a week, 24 hours a day for a week at a time. And there was times I felt very weak, very lost a little bit, and the one thing that kind of kept me going was every couple of days or so I'd touch base with Hoop, or I'd touch base with Josh, and we'd talk some baseball. We'd talk some players and kind of just shoot the breeze a little bit about what the team was looking like, and it really allowed me to step outside of myself a little bit there, and even just 5-10 minute conversation can go a long way when you're dealing with something like that. And to be able to make it all the way back to the field, I wasn't sure if I was going to be back, Shoes, and it's a little bit surreal even now, standing out there for the national anthem, and as I said before, it's never meant more to me just to be on the field, and I hope to be able to sort of encourage and inspire some of these guys on the team, and I think it makes me a better coach having gone through something like that and continuing to go through something like that. I always joke with the guys, I tell them when they go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, come talk to me. I'll tell you about a bad day, and I'll tell you about bad luck and what that really means. But no, I think it's Lance Armstrong, who's become a kind of a mentor and an inspiration for me personally. Guy that battled cancer in the public eye and beat it. Said something very profound recently. He said that having cancer was the greatest gift he had ever received. And I just, as I said, I feel obligated now to talk about it and encourage and educate people and advocate for people that are maybe not able to do it for themselves. And like I said, being a part of the clinical trials and just having conversations like this, educating people to letting them know that, hey, look, you got to take care of your skin, and you got to wear sunscreen and sunblock, and you got to take it seriously because it doesn't discriminate, and once it's there, there is no cure, and it's very easy to prevent it. It's very easy to protect yourself. Make it part of your routine. Put on a little sunblock, especially during the spring and summer when we're out there in the swimming pools and out there at the lake and enjoying the sunshine. Just put a little sunblock on, put a little sunscreen on, protect yourself, because I promise you the alternative is not something that you want to mess around with.
We're talking with the Wingnuts bench and first base coach Brian Rose here on the Wingnuts pregame show. Brian Rose right now battling stage 4 melanoma. The Wingnuts right now are getting set to open a series against the Amarillo Amarillo Sox, and there are two ways for people who aren't aware of this already to get involved with your fight right now. Howsbrian.com and then Fight Like Hell. Why don't you talk about how those two things came about?
Yeah, so we were approached by Livestrong, which is Lance Armstrong's foundation. They're actually headquartered in Austin, Texas, where Lupe and I live, and we actually reached out to them initially for some help with some fertility options. One of the things about chemotherapy is it can and a lot of times will affect your ability to have children and have a family later in life. And we kind of tried to do some pre-problem solving. We reached out to Livestrong. They had a program called Sharing Hope, which helps young adults with questions and even financial assistance for getting some of these treatments done. And a week or two after I had contacted them, they followed up with me. I got a phone call from one of their managers and asked me if I would be interested in a deal that they were doing. And basically they followed us around with some camera crews and interviewed us, and they ended up putting together a 16 minute long documentary called Fight Like Hell, which basically just showcases our struggle and our some of the things that we go through as young adults to navigate the healthcare system and to get the type of treatment that I needed. We decided to kind of open up our lives and open up our story to, again, kind of help motivate and encourage other people and to educate other people on maybe our way of dealing with something like this. I think there's a stigma involved with cancer, particularly for young adults. We hear cancer and we think death, and it's just it just goes hand in hand. And what we're really trying to do with the help of Livestrong and Alpheus Media, who produces this series, is really show people in pictures and document the fact that it's not about dying; it's actually about living. And looking it square in the eye and realizing that you're not going to let it beat you, and you're going to continue to live your life the way you want to live it, and and not taking things for granted at the same time, and kind of reassessing what's important in life and what's maybe not so important in life, and actually living that way. And we've been very lucky. So Fight Like Hell, you can find that on YouTube. It's part of the Livestrong Army, and actually, we're continuing to film. We had camera crews out in spring training, and I think they'll be back for Livestrong Night or Cancer Night at the stadium coming up here in a few weeks. And we're really excited to be a part of something like that, and just honored and flattered to be able to share our story and help encourage and inspire others. So
I know they're selling the T-shirts right now to try and help you out with everything, the Fight Like Hell shirts. And how much is all the support, man? Not just coming from the Wingnuts family, but I know a couple of guys from the Captains yesterday bought a couple of those T-shirts.
It's getting around. The word's getting around, and I think again, when you hear a story like this, especially as a baseball guy and a young adult, you can't help but sort of be touched and kind of maybe even see a little bit of yourself in our story. And the T-shirts have been great. Hoop has been a big part of that. Hoop and Lindsay have really helped us out with getting those produced and getting those sold. And obviously the Wingnuts organization has been unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. Putting those up for sale in the stadium, and really just all the help and support. And it goes both ways, Shust. I mean, there's times when I need the help and I need the support, and then there's other times where I feel like I want to get out and talk to other patients and let them know that things are going to be okay. And it's a two-way street with cancer. You've got to be able to deal with your own personal story and your own personal issues, but you've got to get out there and advocate, and you've got to get out there and talk about it and let people know that they've got to be smart. And and obviously the T-shirts, there's financial stuff involved. I mean, on this clinical trial, I get the pills at no cost because it's a trial drug. I mean, they can't sell it. It's not approved by the FDA, but I've still got to get myself to Los Angeles every 28 days for testing and refills on the drug. So airfare, as you might know, is not cheap these days. And every 28 days, that's another bill that we've got every month. And anything that we can find to help us financially with some of the costs that we've incurred, and also with something like a T-shirt, that kind of helps get the word out as well. It's a nice bright bright, it's a black T-shirt, but it's got nice bright lettering on it, and people, I think have been asking about it around the stadium and kind of seeing the staff wear it, and that's another way of advocating and getting the word out, and educating people on the dangers of melanoma. So,
anybody back home you'd like to say hello to tonight?
I'm not sure who's listening tonight. I don't know who's listening. It's always kind of a surprise, but obviously all the friends and family in Austin, and Lupe back home in Wichita. Don't worry, guys. We're sweating out here. It's 105, and playing in the Dust Bowl tonight. I know my stepdad was out here when we opened up, and he actually lives in Austin and says, but it's a world away in terms of the weather and everything else. But appreciate all the support and all the love, and hopefully we'll go out here and win a ball game tonight.
Well, Brian, we're definitely praying for you. Great job here on the start with the team here this season. We'll talk to you later on.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.